We've got children inside. We have children inside.
In the fall of 2019, retail stores across Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, were facing a series of organized thefts. The crew operated with a clear system. They drove an unmarked white van, carried large trash bins, and targeted only high-value merchandise. To avoid leaving evidence behind, they wore masks and gloves during every job. Police estimated the group caused more than $100,000 in losses. On September 8, 2019, the group struck again. This time, the target was a Best Buy store in Greenfield. 3 masked suspects entered the store and headed straight for the rear storage area, where expensive electronics were kept. During the theft, they accidentally triggered the store's alarm system. A Greenfield police officer received the alarm call and realized he was only about 30 blocks away. He immediately drove toward the location at high speed, hoping to catch the suspects before they could escape. As he neared the area, he noticed Officer Fisher also approaching from the south, with his vehicle completely dark. The officer chose to approach from the west using the same tactic, lights and sirens off, to maintain the element of surprise. As soon as the patrol car turned into the parking lot, the officer suddenly spotted a white van racing straight toward him, nearly resulting in a head-on collision. The van quickly turned around and attempted to reach the interstate on-ramp just 50 feet away. The officer blocked the median, forcing the van to turn again. Another officer attempted a PIT maneuver, striking the rear of the van to make it lose control, but the first attempt failed. The officer tried a second pit maneuver, but only made light contact due to the van's speed and position. The van managed to reach Interstate 43, and a high-speed pursuit officially began, with speeds ranging from 60 to 80 miles per hour. The officer had to fight his natural instinct to avoid collision while staying focused on stopping the fleeing vehicle. The officer attempted another pit maneuver. This time, it worked. The van completely lost control, slammed into the left median, and rolled over. The vehicle finally came to rest near the 6,500 block of Interstate 43, and the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office temporarily shut down the highway. Two officers approached the overturned van and ordered the occupants to show their hands. The driver refused to comply and appeared to be trying to free himself. Despite being overturned, the van continued to move, as if the driver were trying to accelerate. Additional units arrived and surrounded the vehicle, but it continued to shift back and forth. The situation became extremely dangerous when the van began forcefully moving forward and backward, repeatedly striking patrol cars. One officer was pinned between a patrol car door and the side of the van. After freeing himself, the van reversed with such force that it tore off a patrol car door and slammed into another vehicle behind it.
Hands up! Hands up! Do not move that! Do not move that! Hey! Don't move! Sit down! Get on yours right now. Stop moving. Do not move. Where are you injured? Okay. Try to keep it straight, okay? I don't want you to break your arm or anything, okay? Thank you.
One officer drove his patrol car directly into the front of the van, bringing it to a complete stop. Officers smashed the windows and discovered the passenger door was unlocked. With firearms drawn, they ordered the driver to show his hands. As the driver raised them, a sergeant deployed a taser. Officers quickly pulled the driver out and took him into custody.
In total, 4 men were arrested at the scene.
Put it down! Out of your hands right now! Out of your hands! Drop it! Drop it out of your hands! Put it down! No! Put it down! Hey! Stop touching your phone! No! Put it down! Drop it! We got help coming. Just sit tight. I can see your hands. Thank you. I don't care. You need to stop moving there right now, all right? I want him close first. Right down. Right
During interviews with suspects, Harris, Steps, and Derkens, investigators began piecing the case together. Inside the van, police found 2 Milwaukee trash bins filled with brand new electronics still in their packaging. The van itself was stolen. Best Buy surveillance footage showed 3 suspects entering through the rear of the store and loading merchandise into the bins.
How did this whole thing start off? Where did this all come from again? Did it come out of? We go to a motel? Yeah. And some dude, and he was kind of running in there. Like, what did they say they were going to give you for helping out? Like, they said they were going to give you some money. Like, he's taking the reins from the whole thing. What I do? That's what I feel like.
A 4th suspect was also taken into custody. Investigators determined the group was part of a larger theft ring responsible for dozens of retail burglaries across multiple states. Kentrell Steps was convicted of theft and fleeing police. Jason Harris and Michael Derkens were also convicted on organized retail theft charges. Looking back, officers described the incident as a real-world test of their training. One officer noted that if the van had drifted just a few inches farther to the left, the outcome could have been far more serious. The driver could have stopped and faced charges for driving a stolen vehicle, but instead chose to put countless lives at risk. Through incidents like this, law enforcement not only sharpens its skills, but continues working to better protect the community. And while danger in Wisconsin came from organized criminals, in Texas, officers are about to face a very different threat: a fast-moving fire and someone trapped inside a burning home. Case 2. In Kingsville, Texas, a small city located about 33 miles southwest of Corpus Christi, a very different situation was unfolding.
There's no fire. You said that there's a fire? Yes. Oh. Are you still inside? Yes. Okay, you need to get outside.
A 911 call came in reporting a fire at an apartment complex. The caller confirmed that a woman was still inside.
The dispatcher ordered her to get out immediately,
But she said she was trapped in a bedroom and couldn't escape.
There's smoke right here. See. 10,001. 1,001 right here.
When officers received word that a woman was trapped inside a burning apartment, their minds immediately began running through every possible scenario. They focused on anything that might get her out before it was too late. One officer realized the address was within his patrol area.
Man, where you at? Man! Man, where you at? Man, announce yourself! You can hear me! Man!
So I hit the ground.
Stand up! I don't care!
Because police are already on the streets, they often arrive before the fire department. That allows them to assess the situation and act before firefighters get there. The officer arrived and saw smoke pouring from the apartment. He confirmed the address and realized the door would have to be forced open. It was his first time kicking in a door, and the initial kick didn't even break the threshold.
Start going upstairs, knock it on doors, get them out. Start going upstairs, knock it on.
After about 5 kicks, the door finally gave way.
a blast of extreme heat and thick smoke rushed out, forcing the officer back toward his partner. He shouted for the woman, but the smoke made breathing extremely difficult.
The officer knew there was a real risk to himself, but at that moment, the woman's life mattered more. He dropped to his knees and began crawling inside. Eventually, he heard her yelling back and realized he could reach her safely if he exited and re-entered from a different direction. More officers began arriving on scene. As another officer arrived, he could see the fire and smoke. He spotted FTO Martinez running and immediately followed, trying to reach the critical area.
Try and get down on the floor, that way you can't come out of the room and see better. You need to get out of there. I don't want you to get hurt, okay? I can't.
This was an apartment building, with the fire on the first floor. Officers needed to evacuate the upper levels. One officer began climbing the stairs, knocking on doors.
The priority was making sure everyone was safe, not just in that unit, but throughout the building, knowing how quickly fire spreads. When he reached the upper floor, he was shocked by how thick the smoke was. In movies, people run into fires like it's nothing, but the moment he entered that smoke, he began to choke. He had to get residents out.
Anybody up there? You guys gotta come out, come on. Come on. Hold your breath, back your fingers. Is that everybody? What a problem you come out of. Come on, guys, come on. I got you, I got you. We're almost out. Once you get down, it gets better. You're on this side, right side, left side. Okay.
The smoke overwhelmed him. Every breath was nothing but smoke. Officers knew the woman was still inside, but they didn't know exactly where. One officer began mentally mapping the apartment layout, how many bedrooms, where the bathroom might be. He knew that might be the only way to find her.
Anybody else up there?
The dispatcher was still on the phone with the woman, confirming she was alive. They just had to reach her, and fast. The smoke was heavy, and the heat was intense. Based on what one officer observed inside, the woman likely had less than 5 minutes left.
Down, is there any way we can get to the window and start banging on it? No, man, it's black in here. Oh my God.
As officers tried to locate the trapped woman, smoke continued to fill the building. One officer returned upstairs, knocking on every door, holding his breath while moving as fast as he could. He needed to do whatever it took to reach residents and get them out. The smoke was so dense, he couldn't even see his flashlight. Another officer checked a balcony door, and when it opened, they could see flames rising from the kitchen area, but little else. Getting to the woman quickly was critical, because at that moment, they still didn't know exactly where she was. One officer began to feel dizzy. He realized that if he went back upstairs again, he might become a liability to the team. As more firefighters arrived, the dispatcher asked the trapped woman to describe her location. She was asked if she could reach a window and knock. She said she couldn't. It was completely dark inside. When an officer heard her yell back, he realized this was no longer a search. It was a rescue. Officers directed her toward a window and told her to knock so they could identify it. They planned to break the window and told her to move away from it. Officers shattered the window and discovered a large table between them and the elderly woman. She couldn't climb over or around it due to her physical condition. Officer Brown made a bold decision to enter and move the table. The heat was intense and about to get worse as flames pushed through the doorway. He removed his body armor and placed it on the windowsill, not wanting her to get cut as she exited.
We've got children inside. We have children inside. How many kids now? What room? Hey, Heather. Anybody in there? Anybody in there?
Officers helped the woman out through the window. She was safe and given medical oxygen due to difficulty breathing.
The next question was critical. How many other people were inside the apartment? The woman said there were children inside. Officers asked how many children, where they were, and how old they were. No additional screams were heard. An officer shouted into the apartment, but the smoke was overwhelming. Firefighters had now entered the structure. At that point, the officer's focus shifted to the rest of the building, which was still filled with smoke. He continued knocking on doors, searching for children, adults, sleeping residents, and even pets that might still be inside. After checking the upper floors and all accessible areas, the officer knew they had done everything they could. Fire crews began securing the scene and ensuring the fire didn't spread. The woman's family arrived. The family was safe and uninjured. The 96-year-old mother continued yelling that children were still inside, but family members confirmed no one else was there. At that moment, officers realized either the children had already escaped without supervision, or they were never inside to begin with. Looking back at the Wisconsin footage, after the van rolled over, the driver spent nearly 30 minutes continuing to use the vehicle as a weapon, ripping a patrol car door off, nearly crushing an officer, and slamming into parked vehicles with extreme force. The question is this: should officers have used deadly force earlier, instead of continuing to attempt a safe arrest for nearly 30 minutes? Or were they right to remain patient despite the constant and escalating danger? If you want to see more real-world situations like this, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And let us know in the comments where you stand on that decision.